Have you ever wondered why the idea of turning life into a movie has become so captivating? Is it the desire to be the main character of your own film? Or perhaps it's the longing to share our own story with the world? As we immerse ourselves in the world of movies, we're taken on emotional roller coasters. Joy, sorrow, excitement, and grief. We all seek that connection. That experience that makes us feel alive. Ultimately, it's about being part of something larger than ourselves, creating our own epic, narrating our own adventures. It's a process of capturing memories and reliving those grand moments, the ones that fill us with nostalgia and wrap us in a warm embrace as we watch our lives unfold onto the screen. I mean, who wouldn't want to be the main character of their own movie? Showcase your own beliefs, talents, where you're from, and the beautiful chaos that we call life. Whether it's a breathtaking vacation or a simple stroll through the neighborhood park. The magic lies in the gear we have accessible to us. We've got so many great cameras, phones, and technology to create, and we have endless possibilities to tell your own story your way, through your very own movie. So let me show you how. 大家好, ¿Cómo está? My name is Victor, and today I want to show you guys how to make life look like a movie with the cameras that we own, with the cameras accessible to us now, to get high quality footage from even almost budget level cameras. Mind you, you can still get these shots with a phone, but today I'm showing you guys my workflow, the tools that I use, and how I get these movie-like footage. Let's get started. So first, let's talk about the camera choice. This can be any camera, but for me, that is the Sony a6700 because it's a small APS-C camera that can do a lot of things. It's pretty much a Sony FX30 cinema camera that is in a hybrid body, does photos as well, and I think this is the ultimate travel camera, especially to accompany you to make cinematic memories. Now this is an anamorphic lens, a very, very small anamorphic lens. And that anamorphic lenses are used in Hollywood movies and that they're usually huge and they cost a lot of money. But this is a fraction of the cost and a fraction of its size as well. Now this lens is the reason why my footage looks like a movie. And it's because of its characters, the wide aspect ratio that we see whenever we go to the theaters and watch a movie. Now, it's not just only used for movies, but for TV shows as well, for people who are using anamorphic lenses for their commercials, for their professional work, that we can use it as consumers now too, because it comes in this little form factor. Now what I have here is the 65mm, and although it's slim and tiny, this is a little bit longer than their counterparts. Laowa offers the 27mm, 35 and 50mm. Now what makes an anamorphic lens special is its wide aspect ratio, because it stretches the frame depending on its squeeze factor. This lens has a 1.5 times squeeze factor, and that you'd have to de-squeeze it so that the footage looks normal, and that this is the reason why it has different characteristics compared to your normal photo lenses. First result is the oval bokeh and the pleasing kind of background. It's not circles anymore, but it has a different character. It just looks amazing, pleasing, soft to the eyes, really easy to look at. Kind of warm feeling actually. Second reason is the distortion that it provides. It doesn't have clean edges, and that it's usually pincushion distortion or barrel distortion, depending on the focal length, depending on the build of the lens. Kind of just helps you focus to the middle of the frame, especially if you are framing that way. The third result of the squeeze factor or the anamorphic character is the wider field of view. The 65mm anamorphic is going to cover a wider field of view but still would have the compression of a 65mm. And that's the beauty of anamorphic lenses. And with all of these combined, you get a soft looking image and that it has a special look. This is what you kind of see on Hollywood films. And you can get it with your own movies, with your own films. Now, how do you film with an anamorphic lens? Well, there's a few ways, and for me, in my Korea trip, I only brought the camera and the lens. And if you look at the viewfinder, if you look at the screen, it doesn't look right. It stretches the image. So to me, I just practiced with it and eyeballed everything, and I got really great results. Mind you that this is also a manual lens, unless they're making autofocus anamorphic lens in the future, hopefully. But so far, the anamorphic lenses available to us are all manual focus. So you're gonna have to practice your focus pulling skills, and that it's actually super easy on this one because the focus gear and the iris gear are both dampened enough that you can focus with precision. Now, some cameras have in-camera features that allow you to de-squeeze the footage so you can see the final output. And if you use anamorphic lenses professionally, you probably use an external monitor so that you can de-squeeze it and see the final image. Now, if you don't have these tools, it's still doable with just the lens and the camera, and that you can just de-squeeze it while you're editing in post. Now, if you're curious, I made some comparisons between photo lenses and this anamorphic lens just to see how things differ between two types of lenses. Now, for photo lenses, it's going to be a lot sharper compared to the anamorphic lenses, but again, this is the look that it gives you. I actually love the look of the Laowa Nanomorphs, especially the 65mm. Such a great focal length, and that it has pleasing looks. The highlight roll-off is just so smooth, and I feel like I'm shooting with a high-end cinema camera with the Sony a6700 with this lens. So I'm very, very happy with the results, and I love how the nanomorphs look, especially on the a6700. Second big difference is the field of view. This is the 65mm on the photo lens, and this is the 65mm on the anamorphic lens. And another thing to keep in mind is the minimum focus distance of anamorphic lenses are way worse than photo lenses because of just how it's designed. Now, if you do want to focus super close with anamorphic lenses, you can use a diopter. And although I don't have a diopter, there's a lot of tutorials on YouTube you can see on how to use a diopter with an anamorphic lens. Now, after you've imported your footage, we're going to normalize all the clips by right-clicking on them and hitting clip attributes. Since the Laowa Nanomorphs are 1.5 times squeeze factor, then we're just going to set it on this setting. And once you hit OK, it's going to transform all your footage back to normal. It's going to de-squeeze it, and it's going to look amazing. And then from here on, you can set the timeline to a CinemaScope, which is a 2.39 by 1 aspect ratio. What I use in this video is 2.35 by 1 aspect ratio, and it just gives it a wide look. It's also okay to put it on 16 by 9. You're just gonna have those black bars on top and bottom, and that's completely fine depending on your deliverables. But to me, I wanna keep it as widescreen as possible, and this is how it looks. Now I want to share with you guys some tips that I kind of go through whenever I'm filming these videos for my day-to-day life, for my travels. I always try not to move the camera. If I do move the camera, I make sure that it's intentional movement rather than me just trying to film everything, follow things around. Because when you see Hollywood movies, a lot of the shots are static, and it's usually on a tripod, or people just hold it still with this little handheld shake, and it makes it look natural and focus on kind of the movement of what you're capturing versus the camera movement. This makes the footage look more natural. It makes it more digestible to your audience, to whoever's watching. Now, I know with the social media world, fancy transitions, fancy cuts are the way to go. But if you want to make your videos, your films look like a movie, Try to focus on exposure and composition first, and make sure that your camera movements are intentional. Second is to not worry about the final video, because what you're filming is your life, and that you're capturing moments that you want to remember. It's not like you're at a job filming an event. I mean, it's always good to capture the best memories, but it's also important to be in the moment with whoever you're with. If you're traveling solo, try to immerse yourself in the environment, immerse yourself with the sounds, immerse yourself with the view that you're looking at. And if you're with friends, immerse yourself with them and interact with them. Make sure that you're really sinking in life, and then filming is kind of secondary, because this way you can worry about the edit later. And if you look back in the intro, there's a lot of missing clips out there, and that's because once I've seen the shot while walking, while traveling, while maybe in between things, I just try to enjoy the moment with my partner and enjoy Korea with her. It doesn't matter if I got a clip of us walking towards somewhere. That will remind me of how hot it was during that day, what I was hearing during that day, and what we ended up doing that day. Third is to showcase emotions. Now, this is going to be a little bit harder to capture because it's always in the moment. This is where cameras like the Sony a6700 helps out, because when you turn it on, you can shoot as quickly as you can. And continuing on with capturing emotions is to capture your journey towards somewhere, because it just tells a story of what you did that day, because that serves as a tangible memory that you can look back on. And last but definitely not the least is to create lots and lots of movies for yourself, for your partner, for your friends and family, because one day you're going to look back on these memories and experience it again through the videos that you filmed, through the movies that you filmed. And it's very similar to home movies that we watched when we were kids, and those little DVR tapes and those little camcorders, and then you rewatch it with your family. And it's just such a nice warm feeling. And I hope this video really encourages everyone to film, even with just their phones. And it's just a big plus if you already have camera gear with you that can capture your quality in a movie-like scene. A big thanks to Laowa for helping me create this video. These two Nanomorph lenses from Laowa are now available on their Indiegogo page, so feel free to check it out if you want to get similar shots from what I have captured in my Korea trip. And like I said, they also have different focal lengths, like the 27mm, 35mm, and the 50mm, already available since last year. So if you want to grab a set, it's also available on their website. So now you know how to make life look like a movie. There's no reason to wait to start filming your own story. And as usual, I'm giving away my Sunset Film Log Pack, and all you have to do to win is comment down below. What are your thoughts about these new anamorphic lenses from Laowa? I'd love to know. If you want to check out how to make your travel videos look like a movie, click on this video right here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. 너와 나